Hey everyone, it's Linnea for LDRS Creative, and today's card is quick and easy. You can definitely mass produce this, and it's great for any occasion. I'm going to be using the Adventure Awaits collage stamps, as well as the Tracks and Treads, and the Swiss Family Robinson Pocket Pals. Now these stamps can be perfectly combined, and I'm going to show you how to use them today to create a card that's great for kids. Back to school is coming up, so this would be a great little lunchbox note, but it's also great for an adventure themed card. So if you have somebody who loves going to maybe the zoo or going on those safari rides, or even just going out into the wilderness, this is the card for you. I'm going to start with an A2 piece of cardstock, and I will be trimming this down later, but I like to work on a full panel just so that I can get a good idea of the layout of my card. So I have my stamping platform, but just a reminder, you don't need one for this card. If you prefer to stamp with a standard acrylic block, you definitely can. I just find it easier to use my platform. I have the Tracks and Tread stamps, and I'm going to start with this solid horizontal line. The stamp looks solid, but it actually has some nice texture details in it, and I love that. So you don't have to stamp it a bunch of times, just stamp it the one time. It's supposed to look kind of weathered and worn. I'm going to stamp this with Alloy Hybrid ink. It's the LDRS Creative Gray ink right at the bottom of my card. And I did use a little alignment tool just to make sure this is perfectly straight. This is going to be the base of my card and everything that is built on top of this stamp, so I wanted to make sure it was straight. I grabbed the grid from the Tracks and Treads, and I'm inking that up with Alloy ink as well. I want this to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to stamp this 3 or 4 times. I stamped it once, and then I'm going to shift my cardstock down in my stamping platform and stamp this again so that it's right on top, and I'll have a double layer of that grid. You can continue on with this pattern and fill a whole card front if you want. I'm moving on to that Adventure Awaits collage, and I grabbed the Wild. I stamped that in orange. Explore is in blue. And now I'm just grabbing a bunch of sentiments, and I'm going to fill in these empty spaces with black ink. I like to start with my biggest and boldest sentiments or icons first, and then kind of branch out from there. So I filled in and just kind of added here and there to that area. And now I want to fill in that upper white area. I like to have white space, but I wanted to add some texture. So I grabbed my black watercolor and I'm adding a few ink spatters here and there. I stamped out the tiger, the elephant, and then that little boy image from the Swiss Family Robinson Pocket Pal stamps. And I'm just going to color them with my Copic markers. My coloring is fairly simple. I usually use 2 markers for each color, a dark and a light. I like to start with my darkest color and then blend out with my lighter color, but there are many different ways to color, so I always encourage you to use your tools in whichever way is most comfortable for you. I'm keeping my colors kind of just fun and happy, but I am keeping in mind the colors that I used to stamp my background, and I'm going to be bringing them into my stamped elements as well. So the Wild was in orange, so that's why I have that tiger there. I'll color him orange, and that's going to tie in with my stamped background. I'm also adding some blue to the clothes of my little people, and then I'm just going to add other colors in as well. A little bit of red, a little bit of green. And for the most part, I am using each color in at least 2 areas. I think the only place I didn't was that green on the hat. But I have some green in the leaves of the tiger's necklace. It's very hard to see because it's small, but it is there. The only space where I used more than 2 markers was on the elephant. This is a larger image, and I really wanted to have some depth and shadows in here, so I did end up using 4 gray markers, but you definitely don't have to. You could get that done with just 2. I trimmed down that background panel so that it is 4 inches wide by 5¼ inches tall, and I added that onto an A2 card front that is orange, and that's on an A2 card base. I added some foam tape behind my die-cut Pocket Pals images, and I added them above my stamped and collaged background. This card is finished. This is super cute, and I'm definitely going to add this to my son's lunchbox for his first day of school. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!